The Vietnam War really started when a man named Ho Chi Minh, who was the leader of the nationalist movement, presented a petition for the Vietnamese independence. However, he was ignored. And because the French didn't want Vietnam to be independent, they scared off Viet Minh forces. However, Viet Minh pushed back.
Naturally, France asked America for help, and even though we wanted Vietnam free, we did not want them to be communists. But because we believed in the domino theory, we eventually gave in. However, the French continued to struggle because of guerrillas, so to stop them, France cut off their supplies.
So Kennedy decided to help Diem, which proved to be difficult when he got more and more unpopular. He was later overthrown and killed.
President Lyndon didn't want war, but he also didn't want communism. Eventually, war won.
Later, on August 2, 1964, North Vietnamese torpedo boats fired on 2 American destroyers in the Gulf of Tonkin.
Not long after, our aircraft attacked North Vietnamese ships and naval facilities. Soon the Gulf of Tonkin Resolution was passed, so the president could take all necessary measures.
Shortly after, Viet Cong attacked bases where American advisors were stationed in South Vietnam, killing 8 Americans.
"14 hours later, America aerial bombed South Vietnam, which was known as Operation Rolling Thunder.
Because Viet Cong lacked firepower, they used ambushes, booby traps, and other guerrilla tactics.
America, in turn, used search and destroy to find enemy troops, bomb them, and then cut their supply lines. To stop Viet Cong from traveling underground, Americans dropped napalm and Agent Orange to destroy the landscape.
Now, while General William claimed the war was almost over, TV showed differently. This angered many people.
This started teach-ins where people discussed why the war was bad. And of course, there was more protesting, and this actually led to the 26th Amendment.
People were split into 2 different categories: doves, who didn't support the war, and hawks, who did support the war.
On January 30th, 1968, Viet Cong surprise attacked most American bases. However, we survived and kept going.
After this, MLK and JFK were assassinated. Then Nixon became president.
Henry Kissinger was appointed Special Assistant for National Security Affairs. His job was to improve relations between the Soviet Union and China. To get the war closer to its end, Nixon removed 25,000 soldiers from the middle of the war.
In late 1969, Americans learned Lieutenant William massacred South Vietnamese civilians, convincing them the war was brutal and senseless.
In April 1970, American troops were ordered to destroy Viet Cong bases in Cambodia.
People saw that as widening the war and started to protest. Some protesters were even killed.
Because of everything surrounding the war, Congress got upset and took away Nixon's complete power. Not long after, Pentagon Papers were found, proving the government had lied about the war. Nixon forced North Vietnam to negotiate when he set off the Christmas bombings. This is when we bombed them for 11 days straight, only stopping once on Christmas Day.
Eventually, North agreed to end the war and restore peace.
Finally, America pulled out its troops and ended the war. The end.
Just kidding, the North ended up breaking the treaty, taking over the South, and renaming it Ho Chi Minh City.
Life is like a box of chocolates. You never know what you're gonna get.